England ring the changes on their dismal tour of the Caribbean with what only can be seen as a complete state of confusion as the final test is underway. And podcast 64 is here. I'm Rob, one half of Leading Edge Cricket, joined by the co-host of the show, Rich.
Hey Rob, what's going on?
A state of confusion by the looks of it.
Chaos, mate. Chaos. That is the word. That is the name of the podcast today. Chaos.
Chaos. I sent a tweet out not long before we came on air, and different time zones, Auckland and England. And I wake up and I check Cricinfo when England are playing Test cricket, and I sent a tweet to Cricinfo. I don't know if you've seen it, saying, "I feel Cricinfo is broken. Every time I press refresh, the wickets column goes up. It's been like it for weeks. Can you fix the problem, please, Cricinfo?"
Nice. And I hope they're sorting it out. So I assume they've sorted it, and actually England are non-down as we talk.
Not quite. So we've jumped on the podcast. It's tea time in the West Indies, pretty much tea time, and the score's 114 for 4 off 50 overs.
Yes. The big criticism so far of England has been how attacking they've been, and now they're going the other way now, aren't they? They're going to try and drop anchor and see if they can kind of come back against that criticism.
Oh, it's confusion, isn't it? They don't know how to go out there and play. And we'll go into what's gone on in the test so far, but there's multiple details and iterations of people going out there with a confused mind, not knowing how they score the runs, not knowing how they back 5 days of Test cricket.
Exactly. And that's why we've decided to hop on today, isn't it? It's just, what do you say? It's just so frustrating. You see England, and I think we spoke about it in the last one, after the second test, didn't we, when we was looking back over the first two tests. Against Sri Lanka, we were really impressed just with how they'd gone out there and got a result in a country. Forget about Sri Lanka as a team at the minute, but as a country to go and play, and they did exceptionally well.
Yep.
There were some players coming in, stepping in. Burns was doing okay. Folkes was looking fantastic, and one or two others were just starting to kind of earn the selections, let's say. We stepped to West Indies, and it's completely confused from the off. I don't know if they think that they're on a nice little holiday or something, just putting the feet up round cruise maybe around the pool, relaxing, but they're just muddled. It's like you say, it's chaotic thinking, it's chaotic selection. The squad now is we're looking at the squad and we're seeing that it's woefully inadequate. It's woefully understocked on top order batsmen. The issue has been at the top of the order, and we have no options, which has led to Keaton Jennings getting a recall after we worked it out. He's been given X amount of opportunities, and he's looked exactly the same through this whole time. And then we realised, do you know what? He did okay against spin. But against seam, he can't cut it. He cannot cut it. But he gets a recall anyway, because suddenly, okay, we want to change everything. We want to remove the keeper. We want to move Bairstow. The experiment of Bairstow at 3 has been chucked out, and now he's down the order as a keeper, so we need a number 3. So therefore we need another top order batsman. Who's in the squad? Well, nobody else. Jennings is the only bloke available. So he gets back in, and he's out for 8. It's just shambolic, mate. That's the big example, isn't it? I appreciate it's a tour, and I appreciate you can't just go and grab a bloke off the street like you would do if this was in England. But Jennings getting another opportunity in this test is ludicrous. It's verging on embarrassing.
I could not agree with you more, Rich. That is, you've literally gone straight off your long run-up. You've just started marching out and gone, right, I'm going to knock his head off first ball.
I feel like I've actually, instead of bowling, I feel like I've come up a long run-up, stopped halfway down the wicket and just thrown the ball at the batsman. That's how angry I am over that decision.
I segue, but I did that at golf once. I kept hitting the ball in the water and I went, I can throw it over. I threw the ball straight in the water. It was a bad time, but you're exactly right. And I think that's where we should start to, Rich. So this England 11. Tell me who's in the 11 for this game and what changes have been wrong. So we see Keaton Jennings come in at number 2 to open the batting in over Joe Denley to open.
Yeah, so Denley, well, Burns is the opening partner to Jennings, so we're back where we began there, aren't we?
Yeah.
Denley has moved down the order from opening to number 3, which is where, start of this winter, we were talking about Denley and saying about potentially he could be a Jonathan Trott for this era, if you like. Experienced player coming in a little bit late on his career. Maybe he can come in and really, really kind of grab that number 3 spot. Joe Root seems to have a phobia of it, doesn't he? So chuck Denley in there. So they've gone with Denley at 3 anyway. Burns, Jennings, Denley, Root the captain at 4. This is the muddle as well for me. Butler is at 5 now. Stokes is at 6, and we're not even sure if Stokes is going to be bowling or not. Is he as a batsman or not? No idea. Bairstow has gone from 3 to 7, Ali at 8. Mark Wood has been called up at number 9, and then we've got Broad and Anderson. So it's basically Jennings in for Folkes and Wood in for Sam Curran, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's your 11th, Rob. Do you know what? Before we get stuck into this middle order and the top order, I just want to quickly touch on the bowling, because I don't think there's too much to say about the bowling. Broad and Anderson, fantastic, although scrambled, chaotic selection thinking. Broad wasn't picked in the first test when he should have played in the first test. It was a pitch that was made for Stuart Broad. He had taken a hat-trick in the warm-up, but he didn't play. They opened with Sam Curran in that first game, thinking that would be plenty. Sam Curran is no longer in the team after he's been basically one of the main reasons we've got results over the last X amount of months, since last summer, because of what he's been doing down the order and bowling pretty well. But because suddenly he's not good enough to bowl over here, he's been dropped. Now Wood's in. And Wood, bless him, top lad, lovely fella. You know, he made Keaton Jennings jump when he was running on the field the other day. Isn't he a good lad? Do you know what? I'm sure he is. I really don't dislike Mark Wood at all. But the man does not take wickets. That's what he's in the team for. He's not in the team to be the controlling middle of the innings sort of, what can you do with the old ball. He is supposed to be the strike bowler. He's supposed to be this quick bowler. We keep being told he is a quick bowler. He's got one. No, I take that back. He has 0 fifers in his England career so far, Rob. A best of 3 for 39. Average of 41.73 for his 30 wickets in 23 innings for England.
It's not good. It's not good.
That's my strike bowler. Are you kidding me?
yeah, exactly. It's a strange selection. And the guy's not been in great form either. When you roll it back, he's been playing England Lions cricket in Pakistan. And over there, he got a 2 for a 1 for a 2 for a 1 for a 1 for. It's not like he's been setting the world alight. It's almost like, I feel with this bowling attack, they've gone, it's not. I was about to say, it's almost like they've gone, right, we've lost the series, let's have a look at what else we've got. If they were doing that, they would have rested Jimmy Anderson, given Curran an opportunity, who has gone from saving England in Test match bowling, superb in India, and then deemed good enough to open the bowling in the first Test match to being dropped in the third. It's utter confusion. I thought it was a case of, let's see what we've got in the locker because we've got an Ireland Test match before the Ashes. It's not that. I actually just don't think they know how to get a balance of this team.
We'll touch on it more in a minute, and it's something I'm feeling strong about here at the moment as well, is that this selection kind of committee, if you like, Ed Smith, etc., and this selection policy, they are forcing some of these blokes that they like and that they want to succeed, they are forcing them by giving them unbelievable number of opportunities to make sure that they can become Test cricketers. Mark Wood is an example of that. Like I say, please don't think that I dislike the guy. I think he's a pretty good cricketer. I think he seems like an absolute stand-up, solid bloke. But for me, he is not a Test match bowler for England.
Yeah,
that's where my issue lies. And the issue comes with that. And the reason I think that is because the man doesn't take wickets. He's a strike bowler, a quick bowler who does not take enough wickets.
Do you think
that's where it'll end?
Do you think, let's just roll back a few years to this England team, right? I'm talking 90s cricket, and we've spoke about this before, but England were playing against Australia. They had Shane Warne, so we called up Ian Salisbury. We're currently playing against a very fast West Indies attack that's bowling really well. And what do? We call up the only probably genuine fast bowler that's in that team to kind of go like for like. It feels a little bit like that.
Yeah, you're probably right, mate. You're probably right. But we keep trying to kid ourselves that Mark Wood is this enforcing quick bowler. I don't think he's even someone that actually creates enough pressure to make, do you know what? His record doesn't look great, but what he always brings to the team is wickets at the other end. I've not looked at that, but that doesn't feel like what happens to me. So I don't, that's probably the logic. And, if Ollie Stone was in this squad, who was in the squad before Wood was called up as a late replacement for him, then I would understand him being in this team because he is a quick bowler, but obviously he is also held together by sticky tape because he can't stay fit, can he?
Yeah, it's so crazy.
It is crazy, mate. And just, we are not putting in place a succession plan for Broad and Anderson. They are getting towards the end of their career, especially Jimmy Anderson, although no saying that, he'll probably be around longer than Broad. But where are the young bowlers? They tried to put Stone in the squad, and, again, God love him, but he cannot stay fit. Where's the other young bowlers or the other bowlers that have been there or thereabouts? Jamie Porter, he's playing with the playing with the Lions at the moment.
Yeah.
There are other quick bowlers that are knocking around county cricket at the moment. Where are those guys? Maybe they were worth a shot and given some experience on a tour before you go back for that X amount of time, as we keep saying, to Mark Wood again.
It feels like a step backwards. Now, Mark Wood is a part of this England setup, and one man goes down, you call in someone that you know can come in and do a job for you if that's the job you want him to go and do. And it's the job he tried to do down in New Zealand, but we found out he wasn't as good a bowler as Neil Wagner, who bowls at 10 miles an hour less but does a more effective job. So it is an interesting one. It's an interesting England bowling lineup. I have no idea why in a dead match, an absolute dead test match, you are not playing Sam Curran. It's a perfect opportunity to give people a game of test match cricket and someone who has earned the right to play test match cricket. And in terms of the other players that can come in, I do agree. I think there should be other players in the team over Wood, but when it's a replacement, sometimes it is easier for England to go back to something they know and say, hey, mate, we just need a little bit of cover in the team. You're a good squad guy. You're going to make Keaton Jennings jump. And it's an easy tick box exercise for England, I think.
Yeah, and I think the angst I've got for this selection isn't the fact that he's coming in for this game because he's part of the squad. So who else is there? There isn't anyone else in the squad that could possibly come in and do this job if you are deciding that you need Curran to drop out. So understand it completely. That's not a problem, but it comes back to that problem again with how this squad was built in the first place and how this squad was looked at when a replacement was needed for Ollie Stone. Ollie Stone was a more exciting selection. It had a point to it, that selection did. Yes, he's got the injuries, but there was a point to it. It made sense. But again, coming back to Wood and bringing him in the squad was where that was the mistake.
Yeah.
Simple as that. It's just disjointed, isn't it? Sam Curran, like you said, he's been doing wonders in this team. He's been one of the best, one of the finest sort of first 12 months of a test career you could possibly imagine with bat and ball. Maybe a little bit underwhelming with the ball, actually. And he's been probably more impressive.
He's not been as good as what he had been with the ball, eh?
No, exactly. But then, he's got to learn how to play in these conditions. And, would another test have hurt?
No.
But I suppose on the other side of it, this England team needs a result because the way that things are turning at the minute, they need a result in this one. Otherwise, this is going to be an absolute disaster of a winter. When after Sri Lanka, it looked like it was going to be a huge success.
Yeah, definitely. And rolling on from that, so the chaotic selection doesn't just stop with the bowling lineup. Oh no. Let's take the batting lineup in a little bit more detail. So Burns retains at 1 is what we've said, but Keaton Jennings. The guy has been in and out of this England team a few times now. So he played all the way back, I think it was 2016. He started his debut down in India. And he played a few test matches, failed, went away. Then someone else came in, and then it came back to Keaton Jennings again. And he's still not set the world alight. He averaged 28 last year. He averaged 15 in 2017. He averaged 41 in 2016. But he averages 13 this year. So he's done nothing to warrant a call-up other than England going, we have no idea about the balance of this team. We just know we've got it wrong and we're just trying to plug stuff.
This is another selection. Like I was saying earlier, this feels to me as if the selectors have an idea and it's like, no, we are right. We will be proven right if we just persevere and we'll keep Jennings, keep giving him opportunities and he will click. And I think that's commendable. Over the years, England have been criticised for not giving people enough of an opportunity, enough of a run. But it's 16 test matches now for Keaton Jennings, an average of 25.86 at the top of the order, 2 centuries and 1 half century. That's the concern for me. He's gone on and scored 2 centuries. Great. 150 in 30 innings. No, it's not good enough. It's absolutely not good enough. And again, I understand potentially with the thinking in this series because, okay, who else do you play? Well, yeah, let's go on to that in a minute, but, Ben Foakes maybe. But anyway, Jennings comes back in. He's with Burns. Burns has got to get himself a score soon as well. We're at tea at this first test as we're talking. Burns has got 29 off 103 balls. He dropped anchor nearly, but I'm not against that. At least he was giving himself a go. Jennings, 8 off 43, fiddled outside off stump again. He's got himself caught in the slip cordon. What did we expect to happen with Jennings? Denley dropped down to 3. He's not had the best of first test and a half, has he? He got himself 20, leaving one that straightened up for LBW, but being beat for pace, should I say, not leaving one.
Yeah.
So it's a frustrating. That top 3, obviously, it has to go straight back to the drawing board. You're going to have to just burn the building down and just start again. because it's past the plans. It's burn the architect's place down as well. Burn everything. Start again. I don't know where you need to go. It's just not working. I spoke to someone on Twitter earlier. If those three will not be anywhere near the Test side by the end of next summer, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Denley might surprise me. Burns might surprise me, but I don't think that top three will be playing for England come the end of next summer. And that's the issue, isn't it? We're kind of breaking it into three, aren't we? The bowling, the top three, and then the middle order in a minute, Rob. But yeah, that top three.
Top three's a shocker. A shocker. The Keaton Jennings one just kind of blows my mind. I think Burns has probably done enough on this tour to go, there's bits that I like. If he gets to score second innings, great. He'll probably start in the one-off Test match against Ireland before the Ashes, but no one's safe. No one's safe. Denley doesn't look quite at home against the seamers at this level, and it's nothing against him. It's just what you can see on TV, and you go, oh yeah, he's struggling a little bit. But then you talk routining, you talk what the guy's been doing before he went and played in this series. The guy was playing in the Big Bash till the 6th of January, Rich. He scored runs in the Big Bash. He got 76 not out, which probably got him the call-up. But it's not Test match preparation, and it's probably a bit of a left field call-up for the guy going, oh, wow, I'm in the team. I didn't expect that. Maybe found wanting, but I guess with the shuffle, what we've found out is we're still no closer to having a fix.
No, nowhere near are we, and that's the problem. And Rory Burns, he certainly does deserve his opportunity. We can't keep moving on. He's had 5 Test matches at the moment. He's had a couple of 50s. He's trying. He's just trying to make his way. He's only averaging 26 at the minute. Scored 261 runs in 10 innings. He's not going to be happy with that. So obviously, we're hopeful. We can't just look at these players and come in after a few tests and go, well, they don't look good enough. Get rid because they've not scored 200 yet. We want them to do well. Burns, his early days, we want him to do well, but he has to go and get himself a big score. Ideally, in this third test, second innings, we need him to get a big score. Denley, we'll see what Denley does. If Denley's one of those where you could have easily argued for an Ian Bell or a James Hildreth if you're going to go for a 30-something player that's played well. I don't dislike Denley at all. I think he's a really, really good cricketer. Surprised he didn't play in Sri Lanka, and I'm surprised he also hasn't played a bit more in the white ball stuff. That's where it probably suits him a little bit more these days. But yeah, that's the thing. But then something that we kind of haven't spoken on too much. Obviously, the focus is on that top of the order, but it's the middle order for me that we keep thinking of. That's the powerhouse. That's the brilliant attacking crux of this team, and this is how we're going to win games of cricket. Joe Root can't buy a run at the minute. Jos Buttler, 1 century in Test match cricket. Ben Foakes has 1 Test match in like 4 or 5 Test matches. Butler's played 30 Tests. Ben Stokes averages 30 odd. Bairstow doesn't average 40. Why are we looking at this middle order thinking it's the absolute, the greatest thing ever? That I don't understand why these people are untouchable. Again, this tour, it's a squad. We can't just change people out. We're not going to drop everyone en masse. But I am getting so confused why this middle order at the minute is untouchable. Yeah,
I completely agree with you, mate. There's too many white ball cricketers in a Test match team. Too many people that do a bit of both rather than having Test match specialists. We mentioned last time, the Australian cricketer that we spoke to, 1,000 runs. 1,000 runs gets you in there. And there was a fantastic lunchtime interview with Mark Butcher and Rob Key on the game today. And the analysis was, in 2005, England won the Ashes. 37 people passed 1,000 runs in the season in county cricket. Now, there were 2 extra games, but 1,000 runs. Last year, 5 players.
Oh, ouch.
5. That's the crux of the problem. And Rob Key put it down to, we're getting a little bit off topic here, but he put it back down to, there's less quality spin bowlers and fast bowlers in the game, but there's people that do bits. The pitches are more niche pitches that are built for little English seamers these days, which doesn't help. And it causes this massive knock-on effect. Also, the game's being played early season, late season, when pitches are at the worst, doesn't help either. But the writing's on the wall. County cricket is a problem. It's not creating Test match players. And if we was talking offline before we came on, and you pinpointed Johnny Bairstow. Bairstow, who batted at 3 in Sri Lanka, scored 100, who 4 Test matches later is batting at number 7, is now wicket-keeping again, has picked up his bottom lip, but still only averages 32 in Test match cricket.
37, sorry, 37.
He averages 37 in Test match cricket.
Yeah, sorry, 37.29.
37.2. 37.29, and we've been trying to pigeonhole the guy to bat at number 3. The guy...
We talk... Yeah, sorry, go on.
The guy averages 41 at 6 and 7. Both of them. And we take Ben Stokes the same. We love Ben Stokes when he gets going, but the guy's got a natural fit, and it's definitely not to be in the top 5. He's a natural number 6 and 7 as well, who scores more fluently, more freely, and has scored all his hundreds batting at number 6. Got to keep the guys down the order.
Yeah, it's a messed up lineup, isn't it? I mean, Bairstow, I think he's a 5 at best. I think that's where I would slot him in. I don't particularly want him with the gloves. I know he wants the gloves. But I look at Ben Foakes, and we'll start linking into Ben Foakes here, I think, Rob. Ben Foakes is an exceptional wicketkeeper, an exceptional gloveman. You have not heard or kind of seen anything about Foakes as a wicketkeeper so far, other than, he's took a few more catches. He's done well. Because he's such a good keeper. We're not talking about mistakes. We're not talking about, him drawing the eye because a few aren't hitting the gloves cleanly. He's the best wicketkeeper we have. We don't seem to appreciate wicketkeepers in this country. We ever want is players that are really exciting batsmen who we can mould into becoming good enough wicketkeepers. If I'm a bowler, I want the best gloveman behind those stumps. And if Ben Foakes has stepped into this team and after about 4 or 5 test matches, he's averaging 42 and he's got himself a century, then I'm pretty content with that. I think he's doing his job, so I don't really understand why he would have been dropped. If anything, if you want Bairstow to carry on in the team, bat him at 5. If you think Stokes is in the team, great, 6. But one of Buttler and Bairstow has to drop out of this lineup and this selection for this game.
Yep, 100%.
There is no justification for Ben Foakes being dropped with how well he has played, other than the Butlers and Bairstows of this world are untouchable in this setup.
Yeah, and George Doble wrote it really well. So he put man of the series in Sri Lanka 3 test matches ago. It's an incredible short amount of time. And Trevor Bayliss said, one of the best batting techniques in the side is also the best wicketkeeper, and he scored as many test centuries as Josh Buttler in 25 fewer test matches.
Yeah, but he's been dropped.
The balance of the team, they really need to have a good long think about what they want the balance of this team to be against Australia, because there's every feeling that England are going to go for a bits and pieces 11 going, well, we're not strong enough at batting, so we need to pick this player and this player and this player because they give us runs down the order or they can score quickly. We just need guys that can go into Test cricket and average 40-45. And I'm not stupid. I know that's not an easy thing to do. That's why so many people don't even make it to Test cricket or fail at Test cricket. But that's what you need the basis of the team to be on. And every successful team around the world has batsmen that bat. Yep,
exactly. What a we're geniuses to work this out. So we're not the first. A million, everybody says this before. It's just not rocket science. It's just what needs to be done. There are question marks in this lineup at 1, 2, 3, 5, and then you could probably say 7. But if you put Foakes in as wicketkeeper and at number 7, you still got 4 out of the top 6 that you're going to say. There needs to be a conversation. If Root wants to stay at 4 because he's got that phobia at number 3 or whatever it might be, up, down, he's got to make a decision where he wants to bat. If you're going to say Stokes is your all-rounder and he's going to bat at 6, then that's fine. Foakes at 7 as your wicketkeeper. Yeah. But there are 4 positions in that top 5 that are massive, massive question marks. And the Foakes one just baffles me, and I'm sure it baffles a lot of people. There's no justification to take the gloves off him. He's done well enough with the bat so far that he needed, he should have been given this series as well. But rewarding Bairstow for the grumbles and for the relatively mediocre form is a very, very strange one to me. And Josh Buttler, bless him, what a great cricketer. Love that guy. Love the way he plays, especially in the white ball arena. But again, this is another selection. This is where they brought him in. They brought him in from the wild, didn't they? He'd been playing white ball cricket, no red ball cricket whatsoever. Look how intelligent we are. Look, we can see cricket better than anybody else. Let's get Buttler in there. I would love to see Buttler work, but is he a number 5? Is he one of the top 5 batsmen in this country?
You'd love him at 7, mate. You'd love him at 7.
As a keeper?
As a keeper batting at 7. Batting at 7, I think he would be... He's a Gilchrist-esque sort of play. He's not as good as a Gilchrist, but he's the sort of guy that can score you that 100 like he did against India. He's that guy, but he needs that freedom of having a decent top 6 above him. He's not someone you can go and bat at 5.
Yeah, if we had some remarkable lineup with a Jacques Callis almost in that at number 3, who's a first change bowler, and then you've got Stokes at 6, and you could probably afford to have an extra batsman in there. You could probably put Buttler down as a number 7 or 8, well, probably 7, as an absolute luxury player. But unless he's wicket keeping, and we have got a bit of an embarrassment at the minute, Richards, with likes of Buttler, Bairstow, Folkes, and probably 1 or 2 others knocking around the county circuit as well who could do a job. So, but then unless he's got the gloves, I don't see how he can keep his place in the side as we go forward. Buttler is averaging 35, 1 century, as we said, 12 half centuries, but that's 30 test matches and 1 century. Go and win me games of cricket. If you're going to be in this side, you've got to go and win me games of cricket. And 1 century and 30 test matches tell me that he is not winning me many games of cricket in the test arena.
Yeah, you're exactly right, mate. And you know what? I'm just going to throw another spanner in the works here, going, should Joe Root even bat at 4? This is completely left field, but it's based on cold, hard truth. I'm slapping my hands. It's that much. It's cold and hard. But okay, so Joe Root averages 41 opening the batting.
Yep.
Question mark. Should he ever go back there? No, he had a problem nicking off against the Aussies, but he got 100. Number 3, he averaged 40. Number 4, he averaged 47. But this is the incredible part. So he's played 17 test matches batting at number 5 in his career. 34 batting at number 4. He averages 73 batting at number 5 with as many centuries at number 5 as he has done at number 4 in half the amount of tests.
That's incredible. I had no idea about that. I'm sure not many people did as well. That's not just a little bit. It's not like 1 test match and the average is a lot. What was that? 17 test matches he's batted
17 test match difference. He's got the same amount of centuries and he averages 26 more.
Wow. I mean, yes, that's blown me away, that has, buddy. But this is the problem, though. If we had a 1, 2, a 3, 2 or 3 players in that top 4 or 5 that you could absolutely hang your hat on and lock in, you could probably start saying, well, actually, let's push Joe down. Yeah. He's got the captaincy. There's a lot of responsibility on that. Clearly he doesn't like number 3. Well, actually, what about number 5, mate? Why don't we drop you down there? And, well, I suppose that's the other thing as well. If you had number 1 and 2 that actually could see the shine off the new ball, Root wouldn't be coming in that early and nicking off and not being able to go on and score the runs he wants to do. It's such a difficult task for him when he's coming in very early on, isn't it, it seems? So, yeah, it's a shout. And the captaincy is another conversation as well, isn't it? There's obviously not going to be any drastic changes with that before the Ashes, but it needs to be a conversation down the line. He's not impressed massively as a skipper, and it has certainly, well, it seems to certainly impact his batting as well.
Yeah, I'd love for him to just be given freedom. He was one of the top 4 players in the world. Have freedom. Not every team needs their best batsman to be a captain. Absolutely not.
No.
And the other point of this, Rich, is you could go, he averages 73. Yeah, but he probably scored them against Bangladesh. Let me tell you who he scored his runs against. He scored runs against New Zealand and England, Sri Lanka, India, West Indies, and Australia. At number 5. That's a hell of a unit to go and score against.
I don't think we can discount that. I think that's what we're saying.
Yeah. It's cold, hard facts. I like doing that. It's cold and hard and it's factual.
Hard facts. Love it. So I think we've made our feelings pretty clear there, haven't we? Stokes is kind of, because of everybody else, Stokes has got out of our sights for this one. But Stokes, career average, what did I say? What's he averaging? 32, did we say? 32. So again, he's batting in that top 6. Obviously, he gives you that dimension with the ball as well. So I don't want to get on him, but let's just put some context to it. 32.94 batting. So again, when we start seeing Stokes occasionally batting at 5 or talking about him batting up the order, no. Stokes has got an okay average, but if he wants to be Jason Holder, the best all-rounder in the world, he needs to go and score me some more runs, and he needs to get that average up as well.
Yeah, and the last 13 tests, mate, he averages 25. And he scored 450s. So we're such a bits and piece sort of team, eh? But the current score, by the time we've finished our long run up, is 124 for 4. So they've even come back after tea and we're still going strong. But 124 for 4, Stokes and Buttler 16 and 17 apiece.
Yeah, and I can't wait for by the time this comes out that Stokes and Buttler have gone on and scored massive hundreds. and it's putting this conversation to bed, and we can forget we ever did this.
Amen. So it's not all just English cricket going on around the world. That's one of the best things I like about this podcast, is you actually take so much time and attention into so many different things going around the world. And one, obviously, is on my doorstep. We've just had a game at Eden Park on Friday night, which was a 40,000 sellout. Phenomenal. Is
many people in New Zealand, Rob?
Hey, there is, and they weren't all sheep either, mate. It was incredible.
Oh, I wasn't going there.
I wasn't going there, but one of us was going to. 2 T20 internationals. It's just kicked off. The third and final one's kicking off today, Rich.
Oh, awesome, mate. I hope you get over there. Right. 4-1 was the ODI score, wasn't it? India. So they're pretty happy with themselves at the minute. They're having a great trip around New Zealand. They're happy. They're going to do some tourism stuff as well, I'm sure, giving a few blokes a go. But it is T20 season now. The first one kicks off in Wellington. New Zealand won by 80 runs. Great victory them. Tim Seifert, man of the match for the Kiwis. He got an 84 opening the batting, and then a few bits and bobs as we go through. A bit of a stalling, 139 all out in 19.2 overs for India in response to that one. So that's not much fun there. So that's an impressive win. India come back strong, though, in the second test, Rob. They win by 7 wickets. Krunal Pandya, the brother that gets a little bit overshadowed by his almost better known, isn't it, Hardik?
Yeah.
Pandya as well. So he's got himself a man of the match. 158 for 8, New Zealand. India 162 for 3 all out in 18.5 overs. 50 for Colin de Grandhomme and Ross Taylor as well, 42. So some good cricket. India 50 for Sharma, Dhawan 30, Rishabh Pant 40, and again MS Dhoni finishing 20 not out. How's it been over there, Rob? How's it gone down? And really, what are you looking forward to in this third T20?
Well, it's nice to see a more even contest than what the one-day international was to be, mate, because, honestly, the Napier police put out a tweet going, we're after a bunch of Indians that keep ransacking our New Zealand cricket team. It was superb banter.
Yeah, it's right. They've just looked really, really strong, haven't they, on this tour as well? And it's not the easiest conditions. You know, India had just had a good run of things, especially since the summer. Got to get that little dig in there. So yeah, just pick out what's impressed you most in these first couple of T20s, Rob.
Tim Seifert at the top of the order for the Kiwis, 84 off 43 was damn good. Colin Munro's inability to go and score runs at the moment is quite mind-boggling. He's gone from being one of the most dangerous players in the world to just chuck it outside off stump, he's going to get out. India have looked strong. I'm just looking at the first one-day international here. The big takeout from that you need to take away was Mitchell Santner's back and he bowled really well. And Ishant Sodhi, I really do feel, is turning himself into a really good international white ball bowler. Second one-dayer, Eden Park, 40,000 there is incredible. The support from the Indians there's a heavy Indian community in New Zealand in English, and everyone turned up here at some point. So the atmosphere at Eden Park was phenomenal. Colin de Grandhomme, he got 50, and this was in danger of going off, mate. Like, I looked at it, and they were doing terribly, the Kiwis. They were 4 for 50. Daryl Mitchell giving out LBW in one of the most bizarre circumstances. So the ball hit him on the pad. They went up, Krunal Pandya giving out, and straight away he's like, I've hit that, bro. Does the little T sign, like he's a T, and it's like, okay, we're going for review. It should be an R sign. And it goes up there and it goes through, and it's like, oh, he might have hit that. Then it does the edge one where it shows the hot spot on the bat, and there's this white edge on it, and everyone's like, oh, that's not out. And then it goes to the next stage where it does the snicko, and it doesn't really show anything. So they give him out, even though there's a blatant hot spot that he's hit the ball. And everyone in the crowd, Kane Williamson's jaw just drops to the floor like, what are we witnessing? It's just an absolute monstrosity. At one point, it looked like India were going to try and retract the appeal because they were like, wow, he's hit it. But you can't do that. You can't overturn the third umpire. So it was just a bizarre set of circumstances that kind of left the Kiwis a little bit gobsmacked. Kane Williamson soon got out after. It looked like he was a bit frazzled from it. De Grandhomme started to go. He got 4 sixes in his 50, but India did a really good job of restricting the boundaries. That's why it was only 158. Ross Taylor got 42. He was batting well, but he couldn't hit boundaries. They couldn't get the release. And as soon as they started to pull the ball back to De Grandhomme, he couldn't start clearing the boundaries. And India they did it in the one-day internationals. They just bowled really, really well. And Krunal Pandya was superb until de Granholm got hold of him, he'd probably only conceded, 14 runs off 3.4 overs. It was the better team, mate. The better team.
Yeah. Good stuff. So third and final one. Where's it been played, Rob? And what's the outcome
played down in Hamilton today.
So my geography on New Zealand isn't great. Is that anywhere near you?
Oh, it's about an hour south of Auckland.
Oh, you could have got
beautiful
down
ground. I went there in 2015 for the World Cup and watched South Africa and David Miller smash a ridiculous amount, 100. He got about 120, but he was hitting the ball out the ground willy-nilly, mate. It's a beautiful ground to watch cricket.
Oh, awesome. So we'll mop up that one when it's done, and that'll be the end of that tour as well. So the other little bits of cricket going on at the moment, Rob, just very, very briefly, I think especially because we've been speaking about England and India today. England Lions are playing against India A in India, first unofficial test, first of two. Day 3 at the minute. England 340. Just interesting. Couple of names here in the runs. Ben Duckett at the top of the order with 80. We're on opener watch, aren't we? We're going to be permanently on opener watch at the moment with the way England are going. Sam Hain, 61, promising Worcestershire player. And then 63 down in the Will Jacks. Stephen Mullaney, got to give him a little mention, 42 as well. He hung around. 5 for Saini? Navdeep Saini, 26. This is not a young India A side. Let's just get that out there. In response, 540 for 6. This is why I wanted to mention it as well. Priyank Panchal, he's 28. Gujarati, 206. And then you've got the wicketkeeper batsman. You've got to call him wicketkeeper batsman. 142 for Shrikar Bharat as well. He's 25. So, KL Rahul's playing in this team. Shiv Thakur is in this team. It's a decent setup.
It is.
That's some big scores. England have just started their second innings. Nothing to report about there. That's some good, interesting cricket going on in the AN Lions.
Yeah, I've got to say it, mate. I love it when I see A teams playing. In fact, the other day I was watching a New Zealand A international on YouTube from December. I think it was against India as well, just a T20 unofficial T20 game. But it's great seeing those next level guys and seeing how they perform, because this is where you saw the likes of Kevin Peterson go and score loads of runs. I've got to get him in every podcast, mate. I'm sorry.
Yeah, too right.
But Ben Duckett is one. He's gone and scored 80. If he has a good championship season, does he come into contention for the England team? Because the last time Ben Duckett was in a squad was the Ashes, where he tipped a pint of beer over Jimmy Anderson and got dumped off the tour.
Yeah, you would hope that somebody like that, the talent he's got, he's made his move away, hasn't he, from Northamptonshire? He's come across to Notts, and him and his new teammate Joe Clark, they're going to be doing everything they possibly can. They'll be sniffing the openings in that England top lineup, won't they? So it's good to see Duckett scoring some runs. Keeping it Notts for a second, Zachariah John Chappell, Zach Chappell to everybody else, 3 for 105. I had to use his full name. I love that. 3 for 105 for the young quick as well. So he got the most runs, wickets there. Jamie Porter in the side, Lewis Gregory, Mullaney, Chappell, Briggs, Will Jack. It's not a bad side. There's not there's maybe not the exciting young names there was hoping for. Ollie Pope's in there as well, Sam Billings. So it's some really, really good sides. So these runs that are being scored and these wickets being taken, these are worth something. This isn't just a second string with a bunch of young blokes all fighting against each other. So if you're taking wickets, you're scoring runs in this game, it's worth kind of paying attention to it.
It is. One thing that strikes me when I look at the Indian team over the English team, mate, and we've already touched on it, averages in first-class cricket and genuine first-class players. Panchal, who got the double 100, Gujarati boy from Ahmedabad, 28 years old, averages 47 in first-class cricket.
Solid.
Very solid. The captain, Ankit Bourne. Now, he's 26-year-old from Delhi. Played for the Delhi Daredevils. Averages 50. It's different level. They're genuine batsmen. And is that the evolution of the game? Because it always used to be batsman bat and they might field it slip, right? And then it's like, you need to be a two-facet player. You need to bring two things to the team. And now it's like, you need to bat, you need to bowl, you need to be able to make your own tea, do your own whites, make sure they're clean for the game day, and then go out there and score runs. Like, is there too much of that these days? Like, Alistair Cook is an old-school cricketer and was a fantastic old-school cricketer. He fielded it slip and he batted, and that's all he did. He didn't do all these extra things. He didn't need a different string to his bow. He had a bow, and it was a bloody beautiful bow.
Yeah, that's a good point, Rob. It really is. It's we've spoke about it at length, haven't we, about this England top order, and it's not the players that can bowl me a few overs. It's not the guys. Oh, he's a great fielder, or he does this, that, and the other. We need the guys that just go out there and churn runs and go and average me 45 and average me 50 and score centuries and just make an impact with the bat. You've got to get a score on the board if you want to win a game. Yes, it's the bowlers. We often say that you need 20 wickets to win a game, but it's the batsmen that set up the victories. And I need some blokes that are going to go out there and score big, big runs. And it seems like India just have a production line at the minute. Some of these batsmen, it almost feels like a third choice. Indian setup. I'm sure some of our friends will be able to tell us what sort of level this is. These are good records, good cricketers, but there's missing a few names in there, aren't they? But we forgot to say KL Rahul. He's playing in this game. He also got 89 as well, so it's probably just worth mentioning that.
Yeah, good at KL Rahul. Go on, son. You had a rough time in England, mate. Go and score some runs against the A team.
Bless him.
So, Rich, I reckon that's probably going to do it for today. We've covered England, West Indies. We've covered this side of the world and what's going on with India, New Zealand. We've covered the A stuff. We will have our ear to the ground watching this test match with great interest, and we'll be back online as soon as the game's finished. Now, sometimes we plan these podcasts and it's like, yeah, cool, mate, I'll speak to you on Tuesday because it's a 5-day test, and then England are playing. We'll chat Saturday night.
Yeah, exactly. So whenever this test match finishes, Rob, we'll try and get on just to dissect it a little bit more. We want to see in England, we want to be positive, but we'll see. Hey, just one point, Rob, actually, before we leave, Jason Holder, he's been banned for this game. We really, really should have just mentioned that. And what's your thoughts on that one? We just need to cover it before we log off.
Yeah, Jason Holder. I feel it's unfair. Slow over rate,
Wow. Okay.
Really? Is banning the captain the right thing to do? I don't know what the right thing is, but I feel banning the captain for slow over rate, unless it's something like horrendously obvious, like sometimes the Pakistani team used to do when England were touring there and they were trying to, when Graham Thorpe and Hussain famously knocked over those runs. That's a different situation. But this wasn't
trying to bring the moon.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this was a different situation. They were just going about their overs. Maybe they need to look at the amount of overs that teams do need to bowl in an hour.
Yeah, I think that's probably one thing that does need to be looked at, doesn't it? But the rules are there, and it's one of the real big frustrations with cricket at the moment, isn't it? And some of these teams, they can't even get 12 overs in an hour. 6.5. Come on, we can do better than that, guys. So I don't know. As long as they're consistent with this, as long as they go out there and not picking on anyone here, but as long as they go out and ban Virat Kohli, as long as they ban Joe Root, as long as they ban Tim Payne or Steve Smith or whoever's going to be the Aussie captain or the South Africans, be consistent. Don't ban this up and coming young, exciting West Indies team because Jason Holder's not the biggest cricketer on the planet. Make sure it's consistent. That's all I'd say about it. Whether the rights and wrongs, it is what it is at the moment. You're right. It's probably worth just reassessing, let's say, that 15 or whatever it might be an hour. Maybe we just need to tweak it depending on the conditions and all the rest of it. But he could have got a spinner on or two. He had another 2 days to embarrass England in. Could have pulled it back.
He could have pulled it back. But no, that's a nice way to finish, mate. Let's rewrite the rules. But I think when this series is done, we're chatting about it, we're going to sit down, we're going to plan our Ashes team. There's a whole lot of cricket before then in terms of first-class cricket, but we're going to plan our Ashes team. We'll put out a few tweets, we'll get your Ashes teams, and we'll have a hell of a podcast, Rich. But thank you very much for your time, as always, my friend. Anything else from yourself?
No, just looking forward to the next podcast coming out with an old friend especially an old friend of yours.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So we'll get that edited down and ready to roll, and exciting times ahead. We're into the final stages of the website. We've done about 3 to 4 different reviews, and we're just in the final bits of editing, so that'll be coming out any day, and the podcast with the Australian cricketer coming out. It's just exciting times, isn't it?
We are global, mate. We have the Aussie cricketer, that one you're going to love. We have the South African cricketer. We have a website coming. We have articles coming from some of you guys. It's going to be great. We're really excited, mate. Can't wait.
It is. It's bloody awesome. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Till next time.